Satnam, hello.
Satnam, aloha.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, you?
Huh?
Yes.
You doing well?
Yes, I'm still struggling with that healing thingy. You know, I'm meditating on it, but yes, I'm doing okay.
Oh, good. So who else is here?
Guru Simran.
Hi, Guru Simran. Is it from LA?
Yep, you got it.
Okay, good. The picture taker. Yay. I got it now. I'm coming to LA.
Yay.
Yeah.
When?
So you all, huh?
When?
Well, I'm driving out this weekend, but I will be ready for appointments the week after that. Now, you got your pencils and papers ready? I'm going to give you the web page to look at.
Absolutely.
Okay, it's soulanswer.com /healing _LA.HTML. So I'll be both in Pasadena and also over near Yoga West, both.
Right, I got an email from Santok, too.
Oh, you did? Who is this?
He sent it out last week.
Fabulous. He's such a good guy, isn't he?
He is. I've got to go see him, too, this week.
Oh, I'm glad. Now, who are you?
Guru Simran, Debbie.
Debbie, your voice keeps sounding different.
Maybe it's holding the phone.
Oh.
But
okay.
I'm also kind of sniffly.
Oh, okay. Because your voice sounded a little lower than normal. Good. Well, I'm glad to know that. He said he was going to send one out.
Yeah.
Okay, who else is here?
Lisa Wagner in Encino.
Hi, Lisa. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And who else is here?
Ranji. Tomas and Rahmani.
Okay, so there were a couple there. Welcome, Rahmani and Tomas. And who was the other person who just spoke?
Ranjit.
Oh, Ranjit. Hi, dear.
There.
You got more snow coming?
We do.
Wow. Send it over here.
Okay. I love it, though, so I don't have a problem with it.
Well, we don't either. We just need some moisture.
Oh, yeah. Well, we've had a ton of rain. Now the rain stopped, and the wind has started, and then the snow's supposed to start about 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Oh, my goodness. Well, have fun with it.
I hope you get some there.
Thank you. Who else is here?
Jerry and Juno.
Hi, Jerry and Juno. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
Bonita and Juno.
Unita?
Bonita with a B.
Oh, Bonita. Glad to have you, dear. Have you been on before?
And Honeymunder.
Oh, hi, Honeymunder. How you doing?
Doing well.
Good. Now let me ask: is Jill from Juno? Is she on here too? Darn. Okay. So the Juno.
Huh?
Yes.
I think that was Carol last time, not Jill.
Okay. I also know a Jill from Juno, and I keep hoping that I can touch base with her. But thank you.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay. So is anybody else there?
Carol is here.
Carol from Juno is here. Right?
Right.
Good. Okay, welcome.
Shiona is here.
Who?
Shiona. Now I'm in Salt Lake City. Yeah, I was in Idaho.
Oh, well, welcome, dear. Glad to have you. And who else is here?
Good evening.
Hi, sweetie.
Hi.
How's Texas?
Oh, it's awesome. How's New Mexico?
Oh, it's beautiful here.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So who else is here? Anybody? Okay, so we might as well get started. Oh, man. If you let me just say something about Amandeep's courses here. So much happened on so many levels. And he really does have the master come right straight through him. He's such a humble guy. So innocent. And then he sits down to teach yoga, and oh, my God, hold on to your hats. No, don't. You have to let everything go when he teaches. It's quite remarkable. There were so many openings, transformations on the subtle level. Anyway, I hope you all get to come and be with him sometime. He'll be back again in next year, same time. Okay, so long, deep breath. That's it. Allow yourself to be meditative with your long, deep breath. And spine is straight. Focus at the third eye. And inhale. Long deep breath. That's it. Long deep breath. Really feel your prana moving through you. That's it. Now open your heart, doing heart breath. That is long deep breathing from the belly through the nose. And on the exhale, feel as though the air is going out of your heart center. Allow it to be strong, comfortable but strong. Don't go out of your center. Let your heart open. Let yourself heal. Let the heaviness dissipate. And just feel the wonder of an open heart. Good. And now continue to send this heart breath to each one who is here now, or who will ever listen to this recording. Time and space is an illusion. So we are all in the infinite, eternal present. Keep up your heart breath. Let the energy among us grow. Let the power be present. And remember, it's definitely the power of the heart, not sentimental power, but the power of that which moves through your heart. Pure, clean. Good. Giving and receiving at the same time. And now this is Unified Presence. Baba Siri Chand asks that we send this beautiful joint healing of the heart to the cardinals of the Catholic Church as they prepare to elect a new pope. He says this is a very important time. It's important that we lend our healing breath to that conclave. He says this is the time that history, the vibrations, the stories of history, he says they will be reprimanded, they will be turned around and opened up. So please participate in this. I'm pleased in this beautiful, he calls it open air, airing out to all of the religions and spiritual practices of the whole world, of all of humanity. all of those that were used to control, and all of those that were efficacious, that were true. Please send out this beautiful healing breath in your pure neutrality with no judgment. Good. Now, if you find that you're moving around stuff on your desk, or there's noise in your background, or you find that you're sighing or something, just press *6, and that will mute you so that we don't hear you. Good. And then when it's time to speak, you just press *6 again, and you will be unmuted. Good. Thank you. Okay, our dear Babaji is here. Baba Siri Chand. He's saying if you can do this, he says lie out flat on your back. Lie out flat on your back in corpse pose as you can. He says don't let go of the telephone, but maybe you would like to put it on speaker. Okay, lying flat on your back, spine is straight, or sitting straight. He says you have the beauty of the universe within you. He says not only within you, but he says you are the beauty of the universe. He says, please cogitate on that. Just breathe with it. You are the beauty of the universe. Okay, so he says, do you know how? Do you know how you are the beauty of the universe? He says, you know that heart breath that you were just doing? He says that allows you to contact your holiness, the wealth of kindness, the wealth of opportunity, the wealth of being alive here in this presence of creation. He says you are of the creation, and being human, you are with the creation, with the Creator. He says you are superlative because you have conscious memory, you have conscious knowledge, and you have free will. He says you have been through all those other 8.4 million lifetimes. He says sometimes feeling just like a runt, feeling like the victim of the universe. He's talking, of course, he says those lifetimes in water, you didn't have the consciousness to think about that. You just swam around and got eaten and so on. He says, but now you are definitely, he calls it the switchback. He means a switchback to pure consciousness. This is odd. He's saying you are the fellow who ate the worm. Sir, what do you mean by that? He says the worm is your own consciousness. He says if you disregard your consciousness, the purity of the original universal that is absolutely present in its most fresh, most nourishing, most powerful aspect within you, he says if you disregard it in your mind, in your being, you regard it as a worm. He says, for you it has no value. He says, but of course the worm goes and continues to aerate the earth, continues to open it up, continues to fertilize it, even though you have no regard for it. So, sir, what do you mean by you ate the worm? He says at some point in your evolution, he says you decide when, he says you understand that consciousness, that fertilization process, actually comes from the worm. And then this is a time that you allow that fertilization, that opening, that aeration, boring into the stuck avenues of you. He says this is the time when you consume it. This is the time when you consume it, and that worm turns into the conscious being of your own Kundalini. He says, breathe now. Please breathe. He says, understand the beauty of the process. The process is one of transformation. It is one of regard. How do you see your world? Are you ready to turn your world upside down? He says in ancient mythology, there is a symbol. He says the symbol is of a tree that has been turned upside down so that the branches are in the earth and the roots are in the heavens. So now he's asking each one of us, where are your roots and where is your blossoming? He says, traditionally our roots are in the earth and our blossoming is in the heavens. That means that the source is in the earth and the fruit is shown in the heavens. He says, now is the time to turn that upside down. He says to root yourself in the heavens. And by that, what he means is to take all your guidance from your soul. He says from any one of us, what you call higher beings, become rooted there. Consciously bring your energy from what you call the heavens. He says, bring all your knowing. He says, what you know is right and wrong, what you feel, where you feel you need to go. He calls it all the rubrics and standards. He says, let them come through your intuition from the spirit, from your consciousness, from your soul. He says, currently, we are still involved in, mostly still involved in all of what he calls the mythologies of our culture, of our family, of our teachers, of those around us, and all different aspects of our culture. We consume, we believe, we meld with all of those requirements on Earth. He says, frankly, my dear ones, he says, they usually don't work very well, do they? Mm-mm. He says, take your root from taking your cues from this everyday world. He says it takes a lot of home perspective to understand what you take for granted. In other words, the goals, the way of seeing things, what you feel is good or bad. He says it takes very practiced perception to understand what you're doing. You just take it for granted that this is right, this is true. He says, no. He says, do not take any, he says, do not make any assumption in that regard. He says, that is being unself-conscious. It is not being conscious. He says, you just consume the standards of this crippled society. Again, you just consume the principles of this unconscious society. He says you give your free will to it. You live by their standards. You judge by their standards. He says, my dears, how are you going to move up the ladder? How are you going to move up the ladder of consciousness? If you don't use your free will to discern soul's direction as opposed to that of the unconscious society. How are you going to do that? He says this is where your beauty comes in. Your beauty of discernment. He says, let me say that word again. Your beauty of discernment, which is unearthing the truth, the knowing, the knowledge, directly from your soul in the moment, directly from these higher beings who are just standing around waiting, well, so to speak, standing around waiting to be called on. Waiting to be called on. Because they are all united in the truth. Just waiting to feed you what you want, what you need. And yet you give your free will to people who are living on habits, who are living on old control mechanisms by other people, or they're trying to control them from themselves, whether they know it or not. They're trying to create order, which is commendable, but the order comes from a it comes from a controlling level. He says if you were to have real, true order, each one of you would seek the direction of soul and all these other beings. And he said you would have real order. He said you would have challenges, but you would have the answers available for you. He says, and just think, what would happen if not only you and maybe 3 other people live that way? He says you would all be living from the same plan, from the same course of action, from the same juiciness of ever-flowing truth, ever-flowing happiness and grace. He says you would be united from the heart. He says this Aquarian age is about living from that heart, living from that space of truth, where you are basically in bed with soul. That's what it's about, in bed with soul. Feel that right now. He says you're lying down. Feel yourself in bed with soul. He says, do you find that comforting? Do you find that nourishing? Do you find that totally relaxing so that you may take off your heavy burdens, your conundrums, the dissatisfactions of your life, and just snuggle up with soul? Do that now. He says this is where the joy is. He says this. He says if you pray for, look for, heart under every rock, he says you're not going to find it there. You're going to find it when you snuggle with soul. He says, and now, let soul take you over. In this moment, give yourself entirely to soul. Entirely. He says, don't be scared. Soul is the real you. Soul is what you have been longing for. Soul is the pure love that you have been putting yourself out for. Yes. Be present. Be in the arms of soul. And breathe. Breathe and let go to soul, so that soul can be, you can be totally in soul and totally imbibe soul's presence. Just do that. He says when you're doing this, let go of all heartbreak. Let soul take it. Remember, this is your best beloved, your best lover, soul. Allow contentment to arise. Because all is taken care of. All. You simply need to give up to soul at every moment. There will be challenges to your beliefs so that you may constantly give up to soul, so that it may cuddle you, care for you. If you will not allow any other presence of soul in your life, he says, what can be done? Soul can only respect that. Soul can only respect your free will for wanting to cut off from soul, or your your unconscious running away from soul, or blocking. Putting cotton in your ears because you don't want to hear soul, because you're afraid. He says, instead, my dear ones, be fully open. He says, fully naked, fully allowing the absolute presence of soul to caress you, to become one with you. Breathe. Feel the deep sacredness. The deep sacredness that even goes beyond knowing. Feel your oneness. And give up entirely to soul. He says, my dear ones, this is unity. This is what you seek when you run after trying to make up for your insecurity, for your hurts. When you try to pray, when you scream, save me. He says, this is what you're looking for. Keep up your heart breath. Let soul fully fill you. Let soul fully, completely. Every molecule, every breath beyond. Let yourself be totally nourished. He says, you are precious. You are precious. Let yourself experience that. In the arms of your beloved, allow yourself to be precious. Knowing that is the heart of your love. Understand that in the eyes of your soul, there is nothing that is left out. Even things that you are guilty for, that you feel shame for, that you get angry about. Soul doesn't judge you. Soul is your full presence. Breathe that beauty, that scent of roses. Knowing that you are fully accepted, absolutely accepted, no matter what. That there is, frankly, nothing to forgive. He says, I don't care what you think you're guilty of. It doesn't matter. Just relax. There are no barriers, none whatsoever. This is your infinity. It is as it is given to you to experience within the finite self that has its roots in the heavens. The unending heavens. The heavens that are called impenetrable, and yet here you are. Here you are penetrating every realm. Your beloved brings it to you. This is you. This is your beloved. As one. As one. Know it and allow the everlasting trust of your beloved. When you experience your soul so deeply, so richly, so ripely, how can you ever run from trusting your soul? How can you? You know the reality. You have felt or feeling the reality of your soul. You simply are. You are beyond non-trusting. You are that precious one. Your breath is soul's breath. Your heart is soul's heart. Soul's heart is your heart. Soul's breath is your breath. No difference. You are melded. You are one. Not in any superficial way, but with a depth of knowing, the depth of feeling, the truth of experience. It is the truth of experience. You are dyed a deep crimson in the love of your soul. Breathe. Feel the grace of soul that is your grace. No separation. Feel the pure, loving kindness of soul, of which you are both a receiver. Feel yourself as a receiver and as the giver of this loving kindness. This is a time when you begin to pass it on. One who is deeply, deeply loved, beyond any doubt. One who knows, without a doubt, how deeply they are loved, may then love and pass that love along. And this is what is meant by the redemption of the world. It doesn't have to do with carrying a flag, shouting slogans, using the sword. It is that as you know, experience how deeply loved, the experience of that unending, precious, juicy, nourishing love that is you. You are that. That is when you begin to be able to pass it along. It simply exudes from you as the scent of the roses. You know the truth, but you do not exclude, just as your soul does not exclude. You discern truth, but you do not judge in order to put people or events down. You simply see it. See it for its worth as soul's unending karmic play. And you step up as soul moves you. Remember, you're one now. You speak as soul speaks through you, anchored in that deep love. You are quiet as soul is quiet. You shout as soul shouts. And you imbibe, you entrust the pure joy of this union. This is who you are. This is your presence. This, my dears, is you, your love, your beloved. Even far deeper than the human experience. This is who you are. Breathe. Feel it. Feel it. Feel this knowledge, this vibration, this knowing. Feel it in every molecule. It is you. It is you. It's not a phantom. This is the real truth that we have been yearning for, but not paying attention to. This is you. Okay, now as you're ready, I hope allow this to not be jarring, but just flow into it. As you are ready, would you please share with us your experience? And if you had muted your phone before, if you had pressed star 6 before, now press star 6 again so that we can hear you. So who is first? Who is first?
Jade, I could share something.
Yes.
First, I want to say that your voice was so melodious. I mean, not that you don't have a lovely voice anyhow, but it was like a lullaby or something to me today. It was very soft and gentle and just really spoke so deeply to me. And I was laying out among lilies or something, just laying out there, just introducing myself to my soul, and I heard a bunch of different things, just how Yogi Bhajan says, me and God and me are one, and I was hearing soul and me and soul are one.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Same
I
thing.
thought, yes, and then I thought of the I am my beloved and my beloved is mine from the Song of Solomon. That kind of came to me, and then I was thinking that was like when I felt like the presence of like being in a field of lilies, and your voice was like a lullaby to me, and I don't know. It was very cozy, and it really felt like a new introduction to me, like I met a new person, and I did. I met myself at my level of. I woke up some parts of me that I don't know how to say it, but it was very touching and very deep. And
God
then
bless you, dear.
And then I heard close your eyes and quieten your mind and experience the power of the presence.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that was the presence of my soul. And
yes.
It was beautiful, and thank you.
Yes, and what was that experience? Can you describe it?
The whole experience that I just told you, or the one about the presence?
When it said quiet yourself.
Yes, when I was able to just lay there and quieten myself to the point that I was able to. I think that's when it became like a lullaby to me. And I don't know if because I was maybe through the sound of the lullaby, maybe I was brought back to a really more innocent time. That I was more open at that time. So maybe since that changed, and I felt the presence of being in a field, and I just felt I guess calmed and nurtured and held by my soul, and so I think all of that just brought me to a different place. It was just such
but it's your real place, right?
Oh yes. Oh. Mhm.
Mhm.
Yes. I met my real place today.
Yay.
Waheguru.
Waheguru. Thank you so much, dear.
Thank you.
Okay, who else can share?
Siri Gian?
Yes, Tomas.
Yes, Tomas. Just shaking and quaking away and awake and enjoying the meditation. I reminded me of a poem called Inside and Outside a Line. I am now, without a doubt, devoutly complete, with inside and outside meeting the formless creation. I am now healed of heedless ego, easily listening and speaking in synchronized freedom. Simultaneously, silence and sound are lost and found, surrounded by sacred surrender. Spontaneously, without guile or confusion, through profound co-union, the lofty child resounds. The cry of birth is never rehearsed, and circles forever in praise of creation.
Wow. Isn't Isn't that something, Tomas? You always come up with the most incredible poetry. Thank you so much, dear.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bless you. Now, can anybody else share?
I can share. This is Carol.
Hi, Carol. Go ahead.
Yeah, I too relaxed right down into being in extreme comfort, more and more comfort and more and more comfort and more open. And the Song of Solomon did come to me, and I understood that, yeah, that's what they are talking about, being in touch with your soul. And then it just got more awesome and more profound the longer I was there, to the point of not really thinking and not coming up with too much anymore. The words that I heard were, don't seek outside yourself for these things. They're all inside.
Mm-hmm. And what do you feel about that? Carol?
I don't even know if I can describe my feelings about that. It's just, it's a whole new perspective on life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
At least for today.
But if you do this every day, then it becomes a habit, right? You allow that truth perspective from soul, right?
Yeah, that would be what I would be trying to, is remain open to let that happen every day.
Yeah, allow. We can say allow. Just allow it to happen. Let it be effortless. Don't you have a cozy, wonderful soul?
Yes.
Yeah, one full of truth. Support, love.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, dear. Now, who else would like to share?
Aloha.
Padam Dion. Yes.
The Aloha girl. Wow. When you said about laying down, you called me to my game. But I was doing the heart breath, and I was sending it to different teachers, including you, and I send it to Baba Siri Chand, and at one point I was sending it to Guru Ram Das, and it wasn't a no, it was a gentle towards me, because I needed to recognize me. I see all the teachers and healers around me, but not me. And you know my struggle with that one. And then I started to feel my soul was, and I know some people don't care for sunshine, but for me it's the most delicious thing in the world. And I could feel sun all over my body. And I felt not just the warmth, but the sense of the nourishing of the sunshine. And all of a sudden I could see my heart just fully engulfed in like a golden light.
Wow.
And I was tearing the whole time, because what I felt was, as I was gently, even though it seemed powerful, it was a gentle embrace, like you hold a kid. But they've been acting up, and you don't know why, but they're actually scared. I've been acting up with myself, being little. And I started to tear up, because there is this paralyzing fear about the next step of being seen, of being noticed. I've delighted on the idea of being stealth and doing what I do as a little secret between me and God. And I could just feel the fear just gently come out through the tears and the warmth, and it's still there, but it was a very interesting experience of being acknowledged, and at the same time it's like, just cry it out. Just cry it out. It's going to have to pop out sooner or later. You can't keep this baby inside.
Right.
So it was, it's just, that was the interesting experience, a very interesting experience.
Wonderful. And that can be your experience all the time.
Yes.
Like you said, as a fearful child, giving up that fear to soul.
Right.
And that's what it is when you come out. If you stay in that condition, then this extraordinary, this extraordinary experience and knowing becomes your, it becomes normal in your everyday life.
Oh,
so that, remember that upside down tree? So
right.
That upside down tree blossoms in the earth.
Well, one of the things that became apparent to me, which is, typical me, is that I have not really, very small, minuscule amount do I care what people think or do, or, do I try to get approval from the outside, although I'm human. I have done it, and I go back in and out. But I've been pursuing that diligently and unconsciously from spirit, from teachers, from the outside. I've been trying to get the approval from others. And what I got really clear from Guru Ram Das was it's from you to you.
That's it. And whether other people listen or not, whether they deny you, whether they kill you and chop you up.
Right.
It's
right. I got the humanoid thing. Now I was externalizing it through teachers and spirit and and angels. I was externalizing it there without knowing it. I was still externalizing. I know I've been slowly sweeping everything towards self in the last year, sweeping that forgiveness, love, everything sweeping into that direction. It's like just a little corner I had missed, and it's showing me where I need to sweep.
Isn't it fun?
I like
it. Really, yeah, it really is a treasure hunt, isn't it? To find yourself. Good. I love the realization that you had been externalizing it.
Yes. Even it's just sometimes we think, oh, well, I'm externalizing with spirit, with a saint, with an angel, whatever. We think that's more, I don't know, appropriate or more elevated, but it's still externalizing.
That's right. And when you are in contact with those angels and saints, their job is not to be the supreme being, but to be, the pass-through to your own infinite.
Right. It's also when I externalize, I don't know about others, I'm unconsciously, without knowing it, surrendering my responsibility.
Okay, explain that more.
Well, if I am surrendering and asking for something, if I'm telling, Baba Siri Chand or Guru Ram Das or something to help me heal or whatever, that's wonderful and it's a great relationship. But when I expect something from the outside, then I'm not expecting it from myself.
From yourself as your soul.
Exactly. And so it's my responsibility as the whole idea, I think, in my experience, has been being a full conscious participant and not being too much in surrender or too much thinking that I'm doing it all by myself. By finding that moderate center space of being your true self and working with everything around me. So you're in relationship, but you're relating. You're not expecting from the outside. I don't know if this is making any sense.
It does.
And I think that I used to teach a lot of Reiki and Karuna and other healing modalities, and I used to always teach that we have this swinging pendulum. We think we are nothing, and Spirit is doing it through us, or we think we're hot, potatoes, and and we're doing it ourselves. And we have to find that happy 0 point place where we know we are that, we give that, and we are part of that, but we're not it.
Well, I call that. Well, you actually are it.
Well, but I'm saying it
being a soul.
The ego, yeah, but not at the ego level, like we are the hot stuff,
Right.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
No, we totally surrendered, used our free will to totally surrender and allow soul to be totally present, whereas the ego or the everyday self is simply the, you can, the projector, the conscious puppet, or the conscious puppet is not quite the right word, or the conscious projection of soul on earth, so that it's seamless, and I call that the partnership.
Exactly, it's a good working tool, maybe even a power tool, but it has to plug into soul.
That's right. That's right.
By the way, I was just looking at your page when you gave the indications, and I noticed that you have the new classes for the Soul Connection, the Art of the Soul, on Sundays, which is great because I work Saturdays. So as soon as I finish my classes on Sundays, I'm going to start that one. Thank you.
Wait a minute. You mean the Adventure of Soul?
Isn't that the one you give on Sundays, the beginning, the first Soul Connection class? Isn't that it?
Actually, I think it's going to be on Saturdays, so the soul listening class.
Okay.
In the morning on Saturdays. It will be at 9 o'clock Pacific time.
Okay. Well, we'll talk.
Intuition training, the art of soul listening.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. I'm usually
okay. Good.
But we'll figure it out. Good. Mahalo.
Thank you for bringing it up. When you take that class, then you can take a whole bunch of other classes.
Right.
But that is really the foundation class. Okay. Thank you, dear.
Thank you. Mahalo.
Now, who else can share? We just have a few more minutes. Guru Simran, would you like to share? Star 6. Okay, is there anybody else who would like to share?
This is Rahmane. I'd like to share.
Yes, dear. Yes, please.
In Hebrew, the I am my beloved and my beloved. I am my beloved and my beloved is me. Is ani le dodi ani. Ani le dodi ani.
How lovely that it's that this is a knowledge that has been known through the centuries.
Yeah, and several sisters mentioned the Song of Solomon, and this is that in a kind of Bij mantra way. Ani le dodi ani, and it's sung for Shabbat every week when people of the Semitic tribe would welcome the time of Shabbos. It's that welcoming of the soul as it's thought that we have a little bit of extra soul, but really it's just we're taking the time to have that be the priority, and that's why there are all the rules about not being externally involved or minimally, so that we can focus on the relationship of our soul and our everyday self.
Delightful. Delightful.
Yeah.
So thank you, dear. So now when this gets posted on the website, you might just take a week of listening to it. Okay, you don't have to listen to all of the comments afterwards, but just do this practice and see what happens. Really deepen this knowledge, this experience, awareness of what soul, this beloved, he calls it the beloved concubine, that's you, is all about. Okay, God bless you all. And so now, really love yourself and allow that love to penetrate others. Okay, sit straight, palms together. And inhale. May the long time sun shine upon you. Sing with me. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on. Inhale. You are the beloved, and the beloved is you. Bless you all. Meet up with you next Wednesday. Satnam.
Satnam. Aloha.
Thank you.
Satnam.